Good morning, good morning to your face. Hi, hello, and welcome back to Lattes with Lisa. This week we're going to talk about compliance made simple. Make sure you got your Java for this. So, HR compliance is very much like flossing. We all avoid it, but ignoring it gets very expensive fast. Did you know that small medium businesses face an average of $30,000 per employee lawsuit? Not good. Small, medium businesses often think compliance is overwhelming and then avoid it. But avoiding it leaves them extremely exposed and at a high risk. So, what are some steps that you can take to ensure that you're compliant? Um, Number one, your employee handbook and policies. This is super important. There has been so much legislation in the past 5 years or so regarding employment law that has changed so many different things. It is important for you to get out your employee handbook and review it, as well as every single one of your policies, as well as the verbiage in those policies because of all of these changes as of late. You need to make sure that handbook and your policies are specifically tailored to you, to your industry, to your state, and not boilerplate. Do not ever use an employee handbook that you got off the internet. Number two, wage and hour laws. So we're going to talk about those wage and hour laws that I mentioned. One of the pieces of legislation that changed was indeed regarding those wage and hour laws. And so it's very important that you know the difference between exempt and non-exempt. Non-exempt employees are protected by federal and state wage and hour laws, which entitles them to overtime pay for hours worked beyond 40 per week, as well as minimum wage. Exempt employees are those who perform a specific high level duties and they meet certain salary thresholds, which changed, making them not subject to these overtime and minimum wage requirements. It is very, very important, imperative that you know the difference between those two. Next, I would say um, document, document, document. Documentation is of the utmost important always. You want to document performance. You want to document discipline. You want to document complaints. And along that line of documentation, you want to make sure that you have a grievance system in place so that if an employee wants to file a discrimination claim or something like that, there is a specific process that you have in place to go through. And that way you can avoid EEOC or other legislation or other litigation by making sure that you have strong systems in place to um, handle any kind of complaints like that. Um, the fourth thing, and probably the most important, you need to do an annual HR audit of all your documents, of all your policies, of your handbook. If you have not picked up your handbook in over a year, your homework tonight is to go home and get your handbook and put it on your desk. And that is one of your to do tasks for next week. Additionally, you need to audit your pay practices. The legislation that recently changed a couple things about who is salary versus who is exempt, and or rather who can be and how they are considered such. And so that's important that you want to make sure that you're paying overtime to those people that are eligible for it now. Additionally, um, and so um, auditing your pay practices, reviewing your handbook, both of those things are going to be imperative as you move forward. The third thing I would say is train your managers on documentation basics. Not just we need to document everything, but they need to know we need a name, we need a time, we need a place, we need what happened. They need to know what pieces of information are vital to that documentation so that you have it for later reports as you need it. Um, the most important thing I want you to take away from this is compliance protects your business. It's annoying, but it is very, very important to help alleviate your company from risk. Okay, well, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Next week, we'll talk about building a people first culture. Have a great one. Bye bye.